Good afternoon, welcome to the Arcul de Triumf Stadium in Bucarest. It's the opening day of the IRB Nations Cup. In a couple of moments' time, we're going to be watching the game between Uruguay and Romania. Two sides with aspirations to get through to the World Cup, both of them having their struggles, but coming here to an event which is part of the IRB's development program. They put about $48 million into a program of events, including this, the Nations Cup, also tournaments like the Pacific Nations Cup, one or two other events in the Southern Hemisphere. So it's all about growing the sport of rugby around the world. And the other nations involved here, 6 in all. There are some A teams from France and Scotland, also from Italy, and also playing in the tournament for the first time, the Russian team. But tonight, as I said, it's Uruguay against Romania. Alongside me, I'm Martin Gillingham, by the way. Alongside me, Jamie Salmon, a man who played Test rugby for both New Zealand and England. Romania, perhaps not a nation who are as strong as they once were, Jamie, but they're still breeding pretty big in that part of the world.
They certainly do, and more of them are getting experience now in France, which certainly helps, and that experience they gain there will hopefully help the national side.
Well, there we can see the Uruguay team. Players who don't play much of their rugby in Europe. Martínez is playing there at full-back. Their captain here is Joaquim Pastore, who wears 13 at outside centre. So Uruguay, a country who have been to the World Cup before, they will embark on a qualifying process, or renew the qualifying process, when we get to the autumn, at least our autumn that is, October, November. Here are the Romanians, who are regular qualifiers for the World Cup. A number of these players were involved in France 2 years ago, but they're having their struggles at the moment. They were beaten by Portugal a few months ago by a single point, but one or two names there that might be familiar to you. Policia Ion, who made quite an impact at Bath. He just made the move for the new season to play for London Irish, so you'll see him playing in Reading. Quite a few games I would have thought there at tight head prop. Also, look out for Alex Manta, good ball carrier, wearing 8. He's the captain, former Castra player, now plays for Brive. And as you can see, there's some big fellas there. Romania, who traditionally their rugby has been concentrated the strength in the pack, but now the national anthems. Uruguay team making their second appearance in the tournament. host Romania. And I suspect, Jamie, they will start as favourites today. You've got a fair few memories of this part of the world. You made your test debut here, didn't you?
I did some time ago, and yes, Romania will start as favourites. Host nation, of course, as well, which sometimes put a bit more pressure on than one likes as well, because Romania need to bounce back from that World Cup defeat you referred to earlier.
And also good news for Romania is for the first time in a couple of years, they have something like a full strength side. There have been changes in the management of rugby in this part of the world. Well, there we go. A ceremonial kickoff.
Blue ready?
So there's our referee, David Smorchevsky from Canada. It's going to be Romania playing from right to left. The IRB Nations Cup. The opening day, and the first kick is a mistake.
Well, you can see what the tactics was, get deep inside the Uruguayan 22, but he overcooked it big time, and I think the scrum will be quite interesting, because historically the Uruguayans are certainly big, strong, powerful set of forwards. Romanians likewise, and I just hope that it's an area of the game which is settled, and by all means go hammer and tong, but the referee hasn't got to blow up all the time with wheeling and collapsing and going to ground. So it'll be interesting how this area goes today.
Juan Campomar puts the ball in, attempt to pick up there by the number 8 Conti, but massive strength there from the Romanians. Manta picks it up, the captain. Already puncturing massive holes, driving forward. There's Dan Dumitru inside the 22, knocked forward there by the hooker Mavrodin, who plays his club rugby in Pro 2, the second flight of rugby in France. But that opening move there, that was quite telling, wasn't it?
Well, very impressive for Romania. First of all, the scrum sent the Uruguayans backwards at a rate of knots, and it was their put-in as well, and the midfield missed their first up tackles and allowed the Romanians to get through. So a bit ominous for Uruguay in these first couple of minutes.
And there you see it again. 2 scrums out of 2 have gone the way of Romania against the put-in. Picked up, that was by Manta. That was Sokol, the former captain, helping him out. Underneath the Uruguayan posts here. Well, a little chip over, and the rather... Well, it was quite theatrical, but the referee certainly saw, I think, an elbow, something quite nasty there.
Just put the ball down, captain.
Yeah, on Tanita, who's a big player for Romania, one of the stars of Romanian side, plays his club rugby in Perpignan these days, the French champions this year.
Late tackle.
And late tackle, I think the referee will give the benefit of the doubt. I don't think we're quite going to get a yellow card straight away, but he's been giving a warning, and Romania get the chance to put points on the board.
And where the ball landed, 5 meters?
I would have thought the decision-making there of Ovidiu Tonita could perhaps be questioned. It was almost a harmless ball there he chipped through, so it was quite unnecessary. But he has won his side a penalty. So Florin Vlaicu, the fullback, will attempt to score the first points of the game.
You can just see on the left there the Uruguayan forwards in the huddle. Somebody's going to have to G them up, because at the moment they're not here at the party, are they?
It's going to be a torrid old evening, isn't it? The way those first 2 scrummages went for the Uruguayans. Very rare these days you get anything against the head. So Vlaicu, it's 1 out of 1, and Romania have a 3-point lead. When you consider the way the scrummage works these days, you don't get too many scrum halves get pulled for crooked put-ins. Yet despite the fact, and having watched the way the scrum half there, Juan Campomar put the ball in, it wasn't terribly straight, yet they weren't able to retain their ball. It's got to be quickly in and quickly out, isn't it?
It's going to have to be that, because the other thing, it puts pressure on other parts of the game, because you start knocking on forward passes, you just don't want scrummages if your forward pack are going backwards like that. Well,
this is a little bit better from the Uruguayans, in sight here of the Romanian 22, the captain there, Manta, wearing the red protective headgear. Always noticeable on the rugby field is Alex Manta. Good player for Brive, a side who already have quite a complement of Englishmen. They can have one or two more, aren't they?
Yes, like a lot of French clubs, they've gone north their recruitment policy this year rather than south by the looks of things. In terms of now, Uruguay, can they get a settled scrum? But as you say, it's got to be in and out. What's he give?
Blue, far side, in and up.
He's given it against the prop on the far side.
In and up.
Well, that's going to be Policha Eon,
Yeah.
the fellow who just made the move from Bath. You can see that.
Shot.
In and up, he's saying.
Well, he's seen it from the other side of the scrum too. He wasn't round that side, the referee, and straight away, from a quite harmless penalty, Uruguay, having not done an awful lot in the first 5 minutes, get a really good chance to level the scores.
Well, they need to settle themselves, don't they? And this is the perfect way to do it. They're pretty much straight in front. And it's the fly half, Geronimo Etcheverry. Left-footed kicker. Round about 30 metres out. A nervy one, this. Well, he certainly took his time, didn't he? Yet the flags are raised. One of the two touch judges over on this side, in fact, Hugh Watkins of Wales, who I know only refereed his first Magners League game a couple of months ago. But there we are, after a very long wait. Ties things up, 3 points all. Good start for Geronimo Etcheverry. Flyku goes long, inside the 22, well caught. And that was Etcheverry again, finding touch.
Well, that plan didn't work from the kick-off for Romania, that's for sure. And well played, Etcheverry. Put it back with interest. And first line out of the game, I think. 6 minutes in, haven't had the line out as yet. So the Romanians should be pretty organised in this facet of the game.
Well, they've got a couple of tall men there. Augustin Petrece, the tallest man in the Romanian side, just short of 2 metres tall. There they are, well organised, the Romanians. They have possession. Is driving on. We're going to see some changes in the mauling rules come the new season. That'll be interesting, reverting back to the way it was, certainly bringing the good old-fashioned maul back into rugby. Well, the referee's blown his whistle, and it's a penalty to Romania.
Perhaps in the maul he gave it for. I thought he was going to give it for offside in the midfield. As Dascalu tried to take a switch pass in the midfield here. Just took his eye off the ball. He saw the tackler on his in his eye line, and that put him off.
So Flyku taking play right into the corner. Good attacking platform, this one. Just short of the Uruguayan line. Razvan Mavrodin, who has played second fiddle to Marius Tinku as hooker, finds his man again. Good line out ball. Crash through in the centre there from Dumitru. Well inside the 22 here. Quick ball from the Romanians. They're in possession. Alex Tudori, one of the men who plays his club rugby locally for Dinamo Bucarest. There it is for the scrum half, Serbu. Serbu, who played in the World Cup 2 years ago. There it is for Serbu. Uses fly half. This is good from Romania. They've created the space out wide, and that was very, very straightforward. And it was Flyku, the fullback, getting on the end. That was good old-fashioned rugby, that wasn't it? Straight spin, overlap on the end.
Yes, it's just a question of what you do in training there in terms of make sure you draw the man, pass the ball properly into the bread basket. Comfortable try, no problem at all. Uruguay sucked in somewhat their defence, and the overlap was so clear and pretty easy for Flyku to coast in.
It's ominous, isn't it? They're getting thumped up front in the set scrum. Romania really, apart from imposing some pressure and go forward there, didn't do much, didn't create too much, yet they still had a man out wide.
Well, the maul certainly took out a few and sucked a few in, but the other problem Uruguay have got, I think, is the first up tackling. They're missing the first up tackles. They're not hitting players in that area before the gain line or anything like that, and once you get across the gain line easily, it makes the defensive job that much harder.
So Vlaicu, the full-back, has been responsible for the 8 points so far. Can he turn his own try into a 7-point score? He can. And it's 10 points to 3. Romania have got off to the perfect start.
That says Vlaicu. Penalty, conversion, try. He looks as he's settled in very nicely to this test match. So often the fullback does nothing for the first 10 minutes, and he's been in everything. He's kicked it, he's passed it, he's caught it. Good restart from Romania too.
Good clean catch.
Take it in.
The basic of the game, isn't it? But so often you see sides dropping restarts. You're often at your most vulnerable, I think, when you've just scored. Pumped high again by Uruguay, crossfield. Good catch there by the fullback. The chip on. Straight to his opposite number, Mirages. There's the big lock forward. That is Petrice, tallest man in the Romanian side.
We'll play a scrum. It was knocked on first.
But it's a knock on, and it will be a put into Uruguay.
Uruguay captain should say, no, ref, we're happy with the line-out. We don't want a scrum. Let's play the line-out. That's what they don't want. Because Romanians do like scrummaging. They do. They're a bit like the Argentinians in that respect. They're not afraid of a scrummage or two. And Ion and Bala, the props, certainly judging by the first couple of scrums, could be in for a very enjoyable evening this evening.
Well, both Romanian props play the game at the highest level. I'm talking about club rugby. Petru Banu plays for Dax. I know Dax haven't had a great season in the top 14 to say the least, but he was playing this season in the top flight in French rugby. And Policia Ion, who wasn't necessarily a first pick at Bath, but he played plenty of rugby there, and he's been picked up to play for London Irish next season. Taking it in there with the open side flag, Ignacio Barsos.
Advantage, offside.
Referee playing advantage here
Penalty kick to blue.
to Uruguay. Romania coming offside.
Well, that was the Romanian captain, Alex Manta, not setting a very good example. You don't need to be offside. There he goes. Look, he's right round the front. He knows he's offside. What's the point? The Uruguay backline isn't exactly cutting you to ribbons. They're not, cutting you to ribbons around the fringes or anything like that. Just let them have the ball and be confident in your defensive qualities. So not a good example from the captain, Manta. And Uruguay, from two mistakes of unnecessary mistakes from Romania, have a chance to cut the deficit.
So 1 out of 1 already for Geronimo Etcheverry. The first one straight in front, 30 metres out. This almost 5 metres in from the far touchline. And you can see the way he sets the ball up on that tee. So it is for him the wrong touchline. The natural draw of the ball will take it from left to right across the face of the post. So this is a tough one to narrow the gap to 4 points. Well, he didn't hit it out the middle. It was engulfing parlance, a bit of a duck hook, that one.
Absolutely right, it certainly was. He snatched at it, didn't get his rhythm right at all. You can see there, that is not the shape the rugby ball normally goes through the posts.
And it's interesting, isn't it, the way place kicking has developed over the years. In terms of the way the ball is tilted on the tee, we've almost gone back to the way it was in the old Bob Hiller days with it tilted forward. I know it's a very different science these days. The balls are different. They use kicking tees, but the flight of the ball through the air is different as well. It's well, that was a big hit, wasn't it? There, the captain feeling it. That was Manta there wearing the red protective headgear. This is better from Uruguay. They've won the ball, taken in there by the centre. That is Llovet. That's the fly half, Etcheverry. Not too many options out there, plenty of yellow jerseys who will be attempting to get their man into touch, and they've done that. So they will have the throw-in at the line-out. So the moment's gone for Uruguay.
It's difficult to judge, really, whether Romania have gone to sleep thinking this is going to be a bit of a coast, this match, or Uruguay have realised that if they don't pick their game up, they're in for a bit of a hammering. But this was a great catch by the fullback. Vlaicu, who's having a great game. He didn't bother leaving it to his captain. He took responsibility like a fullback should. He should make every high ball he can his own. But he clobbered into Manta, the captain, who's still getting treatment as a result of that knock. I think he got a knee in the back from his fullback.
Time's on, let's play, guys. Let's play.
That is Sven Mavrodin, the hooker for Romania, who played in that final game in the World Cup against New Zealand down in Toulouse when, perhaps rather predictably, they got a real thump with the Romanians, and Mavrodin said that would be his last game of rugby. Well, almost 2 years on, here he is again playing at hooker for Romania. That one a little bit untidy, but they've taken it in. The big boot, high, well taken there by the wing. That's Leivas. Oh, well, that was eyes up, and an unforced error, the knock on, and it'll be a scrummage to Romania.
Pity, because it wasn't the greatest kick from Serbu, the Romanian scrum half. It was far too deep, and this counter-attack was on, but again the eye line gets distracted and the knock-on results, and Romania will have a scrum put-in of their own, and I suspect they'll still look to play the game in the bottom third and drill a kick down the right-hand side towards the Uruguayan 22.
So Serbu and Dimofta, the half-back partnership for Romania, who were partnered in the World Cup. There's Manta. Really, he looked up there and he was surprised just how much time he had. They've worked their way over halfway. Oh, that offload there going forward to Catalin Fercu.
That's 4 unnecessary knock-ons in the first 15 minutes. And that was Tanita. He should know better than that. Plays at a top level in Perpignan, as I mentioned before. That was poor play by the blindside flanker.
They've had a fair old season, haven't they, Perpignan? First top 14 title, what was it, 54, 55 years?
Yeah.
Marvellous performance. And a couple of Romanians, not only Tanita, but Tinku, the hooker, who's not playing today. That's hoisted high. Good clean catch there from the fullback, Laiku. Put his name on it. Very solid under the high ball. The basic quality of any good fullback. You look, Lee Byrne, there's nobody, certainly in the Northern Hemisphere, I think who looks as confident under a high ball as Lee Byrne. Well gathered there by the scrum half, Serbu. The scrum half is tied in, so they need somebody to fulfill that role. And there's the fullback again. Feeds inside, but it's another nudge forward with the referee playing advantage here to Uruguay. Let's see if they can create something here. They've got good quick ball picked up by the scrum half, Campomar. They're inside the Romanian 22. An important part of the game this is. The
advantage is over from the knock-on.
The referee's saying the advantage is gone. Sweeping the ball wide here, Uruguay. There's the wing. He's got the number 8 outside him as well. Gibernau taking the contact. There's Manta wrestling the ball away, or trying to, for Romania. Stepping in there is Conti with the role of fullback. There's scrum half while Campomar comes round. Ball still in possession here of Uruguay. That's the fly half, Etcheverry. Well, the referee's blown his whistle.
You're running in front.
And there's some crossing. Oh, well, quickly taken. That was a moment I suspect that Lucien Serbu would rather forget.
Good intent, and Romania not prone to that sort of adventurous style of play, but Serbu obviously saw the gap there. I thought it was a bit of a harsh penalty for the crossing, to be honest.
There was certainly no intent, was there?
No, there wasn't at all. But it becomes a scrum Uruguayan ball. Manta made a great covering tackle when that backline move was on.
Pause the game.
Now, has this scrum improved from Uruguay? Doesn't look like it, does it?
Well, they need to catch a bit of a wake-up, don't they? Because they were simply just pushed off the ball with the first 2 scrummages they had.
Closer and keep the scrum up and steady.
Sagario, the number 3 for Uruguay, is in big trouble against Dion. He's very rarely binding.
That's over on the far side as we look here. Well, that's a little bit better. Picked up there by the number 8, Conti. working their way up towards the Romanian 22. That's good quick ball. There's the fly half Etcheverry, taken in by the hooker there, Arboreya. But once again we've got obstruction and crossing.
This is interpretation, you know. A lot of referees wouldn't have bothered with that. As long as you're not impeding the defensive player, they won't pick up on it. But this particular referee is on any form of running in front of the ball with the attacking side. He's penalising them. And Romania quite fortuitous, I think, to get off the hook, but they haven't helped themselves by missing touch quite comfortably.
The referee here, David Smochevsky from Canada, who's not one of the more familiar names on the international panel. You can imagine that for him it's a big occasion as well. He doesn't want to be seen to be missing anything, but so often maybe they concentrate on one or two things that maybe could be let go. But that's good work again from the fullback. He's had a terrific start, hasn't he? Vlaicu making good ground, but the ball taken into touch there by Campomar.
Well, first quarter of the game gone, and the player that stood out is Vlaicu, the fullback. He really has, both in attack and defence. His take of the high ball has been terrific.
So it's been a good start for Romania. So Mavrodin goes long, taken by Tudori.
Line out is over. More.
And they just have absolute control, don't they?
Off the legs.
And still the Romanian maul with inside here of the 22. There it is for the fly half. Dimofta. Once again, the first time tackle's being missed. Like a tidal wave of yellow jerseys here. It's Tudori again. The open side flank. Options left and right here for Romania. Manta, the captain, standing off. There he is, Alex Manta. Just drops his right shoulder. It's almost like unopposed rugby at times, this, isn't it? No urgency. Now they need to inject some pace. There it is again for Romania. They've got about 15 metres to go. Inside from the fly half. That was Dimofta. The right wing steps in. Chuntu. There's Chuntu. Good defensive work this time from the loose head prop, Capo. That's Tonita. This is better, creating gaps here again. Romania, Alex Manta. Manta, can he get the ball down?
Whoa. You happy with that?
Let's see the referee's decision. He's asked the touch judge, are you happy with that? He has responded in the affirmative, and it's a second try, and it's scored by the captain.
The water break after, yeah?
Well, that was terrific quick ball. That ball is so quick, great pick up by Serbu, and then it's just a question of hands. But certainly a couple of backs weren't wanting to get into Manta's way, the Romanian captain. And the referee just checking with the touch judge. This angle will tell us for sure. The touch judge was absolutely sure. That's no problem at all. There's downward pressure there. On the line is classified as a try. So the captain stretches the lead.
Yes, he's vastly experienced, this fella. Started his international career playing for Castra before making the move north to Brive. Brive, who after almost a decade in the wilderness, back in top flight European rugby next season, with a little bit of help from Andy Good, who was the second top point scorer in French rugby this season, behind the points machine Brock James for Clermont. So here's the fullback again, without a blemish so far, Florin Vlaicu, and he struck that one superbly as well. And now it's quite a hefty advantage that Romania have.
Well, he's struck every kick superbly, hasn't he? I mean, I say everyone. He's had three of them, and they've all actually been from that side in that sort of position. So he's had some practice at it, but it's clean as a whistle. Good timing, good repetition of his run up. He knows what he's doing. Good technique. As we see that final pass to Manta, and certainly a couple of Uruguayan players, Gibernau on the right wing, certainly weren't too keen on getting in Manta's way.
So 17 points to 3. The players getting a bit of a water break.
I saw it at the last lineup, but we were ready.
In the old days, you didn't play too much rugby, did you, in the Northern Hemisphere in June?
You certainly didn't play a lot. You were severe questions asked of you if you were playing rugby in June in the Northern Hemisphere. This is a 1 minute break they've introduced for this tournament. Just going back to the referee you mentioned, these sorts of tournaments are also useful for the next batch of referees coming up and seeing what they're like in internationals and test matches. And this presents an opportunity, this 1 minute break, going back to the teams, for the coaches to get the messages on there and say, listen, this is what we're going to do at scrum time. This is what we're going to do in our defensive duties, because the defensive pattern for Uruguay certainly isn't working, and their scrum is in big trouble. So they're going to have to make some big decisions in that area of the pitch.
Okay, louder. Okay, thank you.
Well, the Wags look on, and it's 17 points to 3. Romania have got off to the perfect start. Decent crowd here at the Arcul de Triumf Stadium in Bucarest. Good clean catch there from Sorin Sokol, the former captain, former PAL player, so he's played top flight rugby in France. Flyku, big man, takes route 1 this time. Good catch from his opposite number, Mirages. Little grubber through from Etcheverry. Here's Mirages again.
Still in, Ruck.
Seen some quite neat stuff here from Uruguay. Not as much penetration as they would like. That's Mirages again. Change of direction from Barcos.
Good line from Barcos, had to do it, straightened it really well. Here's a chance, pressure on.
Etcheverry with the grubber through, full back read it well. Didn't have too many alternatives, but he did the safe thing, didn't he?
He did, precious little option for him, but good play by Uruguay, through the hands, good awareness, put the ball in behind the remaining defence. Now, can they win this line-up? Suspect it's going to be catch and drive from Uruguay. They're sort of 10 metres out, I would suggest, from the Romanian line. And are the concentration levels of Romania up to it, and is their defence going to be absolutely watertight?
So where will Arboreya go?
Back from
Well, it's won well, isn't it, by Romania. They're doing so much better in the set pieces, aren't they?
Scrum to goal.
And if you can't win it in your own throw and you're struggling with your own putting at the scrummage, very difficult to see where Uruguay can go here. They're going to be living off scraps, aren't they?
Well, you've got to presume it was going to be a back peel or something like that. They elected to go to the back of the line out and paid the price, I'm afraid.
Sorin Sokol just getting back to his feet.
Okay. Ensure that you're staying
Big
down.
fellas, Petru Valin.
Yes, don't stand up. Okay.
Shirts help there, don't they?
Here's our marks from the goal.
Shirts do help.
There is no doubt that the cut of the modern day shirt there is to either accentuate the physicality of the player or perhaps even create something there that isn't necessarily there. There's Manta, the number 8. Good offload. Support there from Todita.
2 or 3 times Manta's gone round the side. The tackling's been woeful, isn't it?
And there's the full-back, Flyku. Up to halfway here, Romania. They're starting to enjoy themselves a little bit. There's Chuntu, the wing, presenting the ball. There's Serbu, the scrum half, through the hands again, trying to puncture a hole. This time it's Álvarez with the tackle. More good meters made, though. There is a certain physicality about this Romanian side that the Uruguayans just can't match. A chip forward from Serbu, the scrum half. Was that nudge forward off a Romanian hand? It was, according to the referee.
Well, an intense passage of play, really, from Romania. They certainly want to run Uruguay off their feet. Quick play, everybody involved. Good to see Chuntu get into the game, the right winger. Just knocked on there by Romania, but they won't be too perturbed. I don't think that it's not their put into the scrum.
Touch, pause, engage. 9 roll, away.
Etcheverry with his left foot. Straight to the fullback. Laiku on the counter-attack. He's got support from the left wing. That was Fercu. There's the centre, Dascalu. Well, neat hands there from Uruguay. On the counter-attack, Mirages. Good tackle. Tracking back there from Romania, but the Uruguayans still have possession. That was Álvarez taking the contact. Beginning to find their feet a little bit. That was a crunching tackle from Manta, wasn't it? That's Leivas, the left wing, handing off and bouncing off Romanian defenders. I think they realise they've got to try and compete physically here.
No.
Etcheverry pumps it long. That's Junio. So half an hour gone. Romania lead by 17 points to 3.
Line out blue, it's on the line here.
So it'll be a throw in at the line to Uruguay. Romanians have got off to a good fast start. 2 tries already. They lead by 14 points. I can imagine, Jamie, the half-time whistle can't come quickly enough here for Uruguay. An opportunity to reorganise themselves, although certainly they appear, after that fast start by the Romanians, to start to maybe work their way back into the game.
Yes, indeed, but what they can't afford is another 7 points or 10 points in these last 10 minutes. That would really, make it very uncomfortable for them.
Penalty kick to blue.
Well, it was the attempt at the drop there from Juan Campomar, but he knew that the referee was playing advantage to his side, so it will be a chance to narrow that gap to 11 points.
Yeah, Petru Balan, who's on the ground there, the Romanian player, going on the wrong side. He was the man penalised.
Arms up, not me, referee. Meanwhile, getting in the way. Well,
change of tactics.
Turning his back on the opportunity for 3 points there.
Goal.
Okay, he duck hooked the last one, but this one was a bit more in field. He certainly got the distance.
14 points. There's only 50 minutes left to play. It's well, there you go. I suppose it illustrates some confidence. Exactly. Maybe misplaced, but we'll see now. Well, snapped up again, this time by Tudori.
Go blocking.
So things at the set piece really not going the way of the Uruguayans. That was a good clean catch. In space there is Gibernau. A chip forward. Well read again by the fullback, who finds touch.
Line out blue, over here.
Well, Uruguay have had 2 excellent line-up opportunities either side of the field. Both times they've thrown middle long. Both times they've been picked off comfortably by Romania, and they've got to take every chance they can to stay in the 22 of Romania and put pressure on their defence. You can't just go in and out. You've got to stay there for 2 or 3 minutes.
Well, snapped up again, as was the last line out by Alex Tudori. The back row forward, who plays his rugby for Dinamo Bucarest. Good catch there by Gibernau. There's the captain. 1 try already for Manta. A suggestion there of a forward pass to Petru Balan. Referee lets it pass, so that's the halfway line. Serbu. Well, they had 1 or 2 numbers out wide there, didn't they? But they opt for the kick, which really didn't have the necessary depth. And there's something of a catalogue of errors there, because the penalty goes the way of Uruguay. But that was a thumping tackle. He'll feel that tomorrow morning.
Roll away 1.
Uruguay, though, finding their feet just a little bit, having real problems in both the scrummage and the line out. But in broken play, they're beginning to string 1 or 2 things together.
Yeah, and it's commendable the manner in which they've gone about the game. When you consider how badly they're coming second in the scrum, they lost the last 3 line-outs. The first up tackling has been distinctly average. So Uruguay have done pretty well, really.
Yes, Uruguay, who take on Scotland A next. That's on Tuesday, captained by Chris Cussiter. It's an interesting call, actually, by the British Lions management, because they requested that Cussiter was involved in this tour, which rather hints that at some point, if they do have an injury in the Lions, they may well call on him to go to South Africa. But Cussiter, who's been playing for the last 2 seasons in southwest France for Perpignan, but will be joining Glasgow next season. That's the fullback again. Laiku kicking across field, and that's, well, he's got the Midas touch today, hasn't he?
He certainly has. He's the player of the half, that's for sure. He's been dominant in all facets of the game, been a rock at the back, been good in attack, and certainly his kicking game, both at the goalposts and towards the touchline, has been pretty hot too. He's putting himself in a little bit of a shot window here, the fullback.
He is indeed. He scored 12 of Romania's 17 points as they move within 5 minutes of the break. But I can imagine Romania are going to be anxious to kick on here. They really should be putting away a team like Uruguay.
Line out's over. Same ball.
It's Horta in possession. The flank forward. Scrum half, Campomar. Hoists it high.
Good, back from blue, roll it.
Well, that was Serbu coming in, but looked like it was nudged forward, but it's Uruguay's ball anyway. Spinning it quickly through the hands along the line, but look at the yellow jerseys there. They equal to it. So important to make the first tackle, and there it was made by Kathleen Ferku. But still, they create a bit of space. There's Gibernau with the chip forward. Was he taken late? The referee's blown his whistle.
Actually landed here.
Yeah, and it will be from where the ball landed. He kicked it.
Mark's here, we're back there.
Yes, you can hear the referee offering the alternative, back here or along there. And I know the Romanian defender here will claim that he was committed, but I do often have this theory that rugby players, and this, well, that was clearly late, wasn't it? But so often rugby players, I think, deliberately overcommit themselves, don't they? They say, right, I'm going to get him. If he's got the ball when I get him, well, all well and good. But if not, I'm going to stop him.
I've never worked out why coaches don't tell these guys, if they're shaping the kick, don't tackle. If you go through with the tackle, expect what you deserve in the dressing room from me. It's just ludicrous, especially because of where the ball lands and this opportunity that it presents Etcheverry to close the gap a bit. God, I've never worked it out. You see it every game, a late tackle, but a guy's shaping the kick. Extraordinary. More often than not, it's a forward though. I will put that caveat in.
Hope we're not casting aspersions at the intellectual capacity of 1 or 2 men here wearing 1 to 8 on the back of their jerseys, but no problems there from the fly half. Geronimo Etcheverry narrows the gap, and after the way it started, they'll be pretty happy with this, I would have thought.
It was a pretty good kick. Certainly the draw more than the duck hook this time, which is what you need.
You can see though he's fighting it, isn't he? Because it was quite a sharp left to right flight in the air there off the left boot. So Laiku with the restart, the fullback. Good clean catch, but he was...
in the air, he's got to go. Oh, he's got to stop that, the referee. Tackled in the air, very dangerous.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see if we get another view of that. You can see Thomas Jolivet coming on, the replacement. The referee just explaining there to Alex Manta that it is dangerous, which I suppose is rather a statement of the obvious, but so many times you would see in other forms of rugby that a yellow card would be shown immediately for that.
Well, you've got to, you know, Tanita's been around the block a bit. You know, he's played in T14 in France. He knows what the form is, and you know, at top level, they made 2 silly mistakes in a row, Romania here. One was a late tackle that cost them 3 points, and from the restart, tackling a man there. You know, good teams don't make 2 big mistakes in a row. You don't get away with it at the top level.
Still line out, hold. Ball. Line out,
and today, I guess I'm in danger of sounding a little patronising here, but they're unlikely to be penalised as much as they might be by a team like Uruguay. Well, the attempt at the drop kick, and that was very optimistic, but he's done it in the knowledge that he had the penalty coming anyway.
Last three things of the Romania, penalty, 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 and that time it was Mavrodin coming in so blatantly from the side, it was unbelievable.
Yes.
Very poor last 5 minutes from Romania, very poor indeed.
And they've let Uruguay get back in the game, and I suppose the question is, were they putting in this sort of performance against France, who are their next opponents on Tuesday? You'd expect them to be penalised for it, wouldn't you?
Ball! Line out is over!
Line up ball short this time. That's rather better from Uruguay. They're running out of space here on the near side. That was Arboreya, the hooker, taking the ball in. There it is for the scrum half. Campomar. Inside a half time.
Yeah, your hands are on it.
There's Campomar again, the scrum half. Offloads to his number 8, Ignacio Conti.
Ball's there for goal.
Just outside the Romanian 22. 17 points to 6 the score. Well, they've worked it well of Romania.
Ball's out.
And they've turned it over, and there it is. And it's back to the fullback, Flyku,
Taken in.
who puts the big right boot onto it.
Play on.
Finds touch.
Quick throw. No
As
problem.
Alex Manta, the captain. The quick throw in. Comes back to the fullback again. Flyku chips forward. That was a poor kick on that occasion. Straight to Etcheverry. Etcheverry, well, it's all about the bounce of the ball, and it went the wrong way there.
Grounded. 22.
Well, Romania have let themselves down in those last 5-10 minutes, that's for sure.
It's all been a bit scrappy, hasn't it?
Yeah, far too many self-enforced errors from their part, and having set the foundation to go on and record a notable victory and a sizable victory, they're not helping themselves here at all. Last minute of the first half, and our star of the first half, Flyku, is going to kick it as far as he can down the field, I would suggest.
The Romanian domination in the first 10 minutes or so suggested we might be looking at a score here in excess of 50, but Uruguay have been allowed to come back into the game and have even created one or two things themselves. Oh, that was fumbled and knocked forward and picked up by Petru Bala. That's Soren Sokol, the former captain.
He's allowed to make a tackle. No advantage. Scrum to goal. Knocked on.
So we're going to come back for that knock on off a Uruguayan hand.
Yeah, another error from the Uruguayans. I think the Uruguayan captain could have said to the ref, minute gone, ref, half time please, because we don't want to scrum midfield with the Romanian put-in. Thank you very much indeed. This will be the last play of the first half, I'm sure of that, unless a penalty is conceded.
Well, we've seen virtually nothing, have we, from Romania in this last 10 or 15 minutes. It would be important, I think, if they can try and create something here, just to rediscover their own equilibrium.
So you don't think Manta's going to pick up from the base and have a go?
Okay.
I must have seen him play quite a bit in European rugby and also a bit in the French league, and Manta, he does like tucking the ball under his arm. He's big, strong lad. He's pretty quick as well. We've seen him get around the field defensively tonight, haven't we?
Well, he's also good at picking where it's going to break down. His intellect's good.
And there he goes, rather predictably, offloads. That was Daskalu wearing 13 on his back. That's Sokol, the captain, just outside 22 here. This is better from Romania. That was Tonita. The offload to Petrice, the big man.
Yeah, went forward.
Well, they've lost control of it and the ball's gone forward. And the referee blows his whistle for half-time. Jamie, well, it was a half of two halves, really, wasn't it?
Well, it was. I mean, and Romania seemed to be coasting to a very comfortable lead at half-time. In control in all facets of the game. No real alarms near their try line. Hadn't been in their 22 for long periods. Yet they went to sleep in the last 10 minutes, and to be fair credit to Uruguay for coming back.
Half-time in Bucarest, Romania lead Uruguay by 17 points to 6.